Hey guys, welcome back. So I have another book review for you today, and this one is going to be slightly different. I went to Books A Million. I saw it in the bargain books, and I really felt like I needed it. It's not strictly nonfiction, but it's not really fiction either. I'll get into it. But anyway, this book is about conspiracy theories, and I love a good conspiracy theory. I also love a bad conspiracy theory, so really I didn't feel like I could go wrong here at all. But some weird things have happened since I picked up this book, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit about the book. I'm going to tell you the weird thing that happened to me about it, and then I'll tell you what I thought of the book. So, this is a book. It's called Conspiracy. It's by Charlotte Greig and Mike Rothschild, which is interesting, and I'll get to that later. So like I said, I picked this up at Books A Million. And yeah, let me tell you what happened about this, okay? So when I start to read a book, I look it up on Goodreads, and I see what everyone thinks, see what its rating is, whatever. So I looked up this book, and I couldn't find it. I scanned the little barcode. There's like a little barcode down here. If you use Goodreads, you know that you can scan the barcode on the back, and it'll bring up the book. It brought up nothing. I looked it up on Amazon. There were no reviews. I looked it up on Amazon UK. It said it hadn't been released yet. So I read about half of it, and then I started doing some more Googling, and I Googled this author, and I found out that she died in 2013, and that is fine, except for this book was published in 2020, this edition, anyway. And then I looked up Mike Rothschild, and the first one I found was like an economist or something, and I thought that was really strange, but I just let it go. I finally managed to find the book on Goodreads, and it has 3.3 stars, and I think like 31 actual reviews, about 281 ratings, but that is the 2003 or 2006 version. I didn't even find a definitive answer about when this book was published. Well, besides 2020, which leads me to believe that it was written and then Mike Rothschild, I assume, went in and like added to it, because a lot of this stuff takes place like 2014 and later. So there's that. But like I said, I don't necessarily know how that works. I'm not really sure. I couldn't find anything about it. So that was super weird. And I was like, is this a conspiracy too? I don't know. But that's okay. Like I said, I found the book. I've already reviewed it on Goodreads, and I'll go ahead and tell you that I gave it 4 stars. Now, I saw a lot of reviews that were saying, like, it doesn't tell you a lot of information. It doesn't all, like, go cohesively together. And I kind of agree with both of those things. The theories are about 3 to 4 pages a piece. It's broken up into 7 chapters. Each chapter is called something like, true crime, cover-ups, wars, whatever. And inside those chapters are like little mini headers with the different theories, and then like why they're plausible and why they're not. But that only takes about 3 to 4 pages each. So it's not a ton of information. You're getting a basic overview, and you're getting like just a little bit of information about it, which I think is fine for like a big compilation of conspiracy theories. I think it said there's more than 50 in here. It's about 250 pages, so that sounds about right to me. But like, that's kind of normal. There's 50 of them. If they wrote about each of them in depth, we would have literally been here forever reading this book. But I kind of like a little taste test of different theories. I heard a couple that I hadn't really heard of before. There were a couple that I hadn't heard a specific argument for, and there's some that's pretty well known. I think you probably can't read a conspiracy theory book without like talking about JFK and without talking about like Roswell. So yeah, those are definitely there. There's a couple more that are really interesting, and there's some that, like I said, I didn't really know much about. There were some that I did know a lot about, so whatever. For me, I don't really mind rereading something that I already know. I did read every single one of them in this book, which if I was just going to read this for myself and not to sit here and review it, I might have skipped around to some that I thought were more interesting or some that I hadn't heard of, but that's just me. You might enjoy reading them all straight through. I don't mind doing that either, honestly. But yeah, that was kind of some of the complaints and how I dealt with them. Like I said, it didn't bother me that they were quite short. I mean, honestly, if you really want like an in-depth analysis of, the Kennedys or Area 51 or really anything, you're going to need to get a book on that. Like, that's not even me trying to be rude. That's just how it is. You're going to need to get a book on that specific theory, which I'm sure that you can find if that's what you're looking for. But if you just want like something pretty easy to read, I think, and something you can just kind of go through, then this is a totally great book for that. I really enjoyed it. I will say some of it did feel a little bit disjointed. I think that you can tell that there are two authors. And I think that you can kind of tell where the original author wrote and then where the newer author wrote. I did find out that this Mike Rothschild is actually a conspiracy theory debunker. That is kind of his job. I didn't know that was a job, but right on. If that is your job, I'm very excited for you for that because I'm a little bit jealous, but that's whatever as well. Like I said, it's not going to be a super in-depth thing. There were some that I hadn't really heard of, so I was like, okay, this is great for me. But yeah. And I'll also say that like sometimes it's a little bit dry. But one thing that I did have that was a major complaint, clearly it wasn't that big of a complaint because I didn't mark it down too far, but it did bother me, is in the introduction, it tells you that they want you to be able to decide for yourself if these theories are correct or if they're just theories. And then in the book, certain theories are kind of basically told like this isn't true. And that kind of bothered me. If you're going to let me decide for myself, I don't need you to tell me if you believe it or not. I want to decide if I believe it or not. So that is kind of a frustrating thing that happens. Like I said, it doesn't happen on every single theory, but it does happen on some of them. So if that's something that bothers you, just know that that does happen. But overall, I do think that this is a good book. It's pretty basic. It's really easy to read. I read it in one day. And it does give you a little bit of information. I did stop and look things up if I didn't know enough about them and I felt like I had more questions. But I think that that always happens to me with nonfiction books anyways. So if that happens to you as well, just know you're going to be doing that. But yeah, I do think it's a good book. Do I think it's the best conspiracy theory book I've ever read? No, I don't think that. But I do think that it's a good book and I think it's worth reading if this is something that interests you, if you are a believer in a lot of theories, if you're not a believer in a lot of theories and you just like to make fun of people that like them, or if you're just looking for like different viewpoints or you've literally never heard of one before, like right on. Give it a go. Like I said, I picked this up at Books a Million, so I'm sure you can get it online. And I don't think this is on Kindle. I'm not sure, but it is on Amazon. So give it a try. Give another conspiracy theory book a try. I think they're fun. Like, I don't necessarily believe a lot of them, but I do kind of enjoy reading about them. So yeah, definitely give it a go. This is the cover on the one that I read. There are different covers. So here it has, you know, like Vladimir Putin, the Illuminati eye, like JFK. So definitely look that one up. Like I said, this is a different edition. The other edition looks very early 2000s, so there is that. But yeah, definitely check it out. See if you like it. See if you hate it. And if you hate it, let me know because I didn't think it was bad at all. But yeah, this was not the book I planned on reading this week. So the book that I was going to read this week, I'll have for you guys next week. But yeah, I hope that you guys have a great week, and I'll be back on Thursday. Bye!